This is the Shawn Yankey Show.
And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Today, we've had a national tragedy. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack.
This episode of the Shawn Yankey Show is being brought to you by the support of viewers like me. We realize the importance of independent media and truth in this time of mass deceit and propaganda. We have decided to fight for and support it to keep it alive. You can help us in this fight for truth. Contribute at patreon.com/Shawn Yankey. Thanks for coming to the show. It'll begin soon.
Hey everybody, get in here. It is time once again for the Shawn Yankey Show. I am Shawn, and this is the Shawn Yankey Show. We are live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So wherever you're at, please say hi and take part, because this is a discussion-driven chat show. Every day we have a conversation. We gather at the same time. We have a discussion based off the comment section. Now, on Friday nights, we have a guest. And tonight, our guest is Nick Reeder, and he'll be joining us real soon. But before that, I want to say hi to everybody and get the conversation going, because we will be involving the comment section in the conversation. So, hey, Lolly got first. Helen, Joan, Lee, Nissa. Good group. A lot of people in here. All right, Ron's here. Terry. Nice to see y'all. We'll be getting back to you in just a little bit. Nick is here and ready to go. So I'm going to get right to Nick and bring him in. But thank you, everybody, for showing up. And Ron, you're right. Sharing is caring. Please share this out. Get this out. Invite your friends. We're going to have a great conversation with Nick. Let me bring him in real quick and get that going. Let me get rid of this banner. Hey, Nick.
Oh, hey, Shawn. What's up, man? How you doing?
Not much. How are you?
I'm all right. Doing good.
It's been a while.
I know. I was just out at the store.
Huh?
I said I was just out at the store. I'm glad we got this to work out.
Oh, yeah? Would you have to run and get something last minute?
Yeah, I had to get something for my wife before dinner. So
I spend so much time at this little store down the street from my house, and I don't think I would spend so much time and money down there if it wasn't for the fact that it's so close.
Convenience always helps, doesn't it?
It's too much. I treat it like my refrigerator. I'll get thirsty and just walk down the street and go buy something instead of going to get something I already have.
I like that. What state are you from?
Missouri.
Oh, that's right.
Middle of Cornfield, Missouri.
I've been out. I was out in Kansas City, Kansas a couple years ago, man. I loved it out there.
Oh, really?
It was peaceful, at least where I was at. We were on the outskirts of it. God, there was no one around. It was great. I loved it.
It's kind of wild how flat it is out in Kansas.
I've never been out there. The first time I've ever been out there, man. It was insane.
Yeah. You can see ridiculously far there.
Yep. Nothing but cornfields and shit where I was at.
Really?
The first time I learned, I didn't know, I had no idea that they actually grew grass at a farm and sold it. I didn't know that. I learned that while I was out there.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, Bob? Bob's here. He's a good friend of mine. I like him.
Right on. There's a lot of good people here. A lot big group in here already. But it looks like you got a lot of support in the room. Now, you've kind of went away from politics as I have. As from what I've heard, anyway, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I've come to the feeling that it's theater at the national stage.
Yeah.
That they're
Especially
playing
now.
this.
We got sold a lot of stuff, and a lot of it didn't come through. And I was just really annoyed by it. And then I realized that a lot of it was bullshit. Now, I still believe in Trump. I still support him. I still like what he stands for. He did a lot of good for this country. But he also sold us a lot of stuff, a lot of hope. And so far as it sits, a lot of it didn't come through. I mean, hell, Joe Biden's president. So, and as we all know, Trump said that they stole the election, and, he's basically saying that they were going to fix it. And as you can tell, Biden's still president and nothing's been done. So,
right.
It's a lot of bullshit. And I don't know, man. I can't deal with that shit. It pisses me off. They all fucking lie. They all bullshit, and they get you to do what they want you to do. So you push their agenda so they can capitalize off of it. And I mean, and I feel what you've been through with Bernie, dude.
I kind of was thinking the same thing while you were speaking. I was going through the same emotions.
I was so pissed off. I was so pissed, let down, hurt, deserted. I mean, up to his last day, he was talking about the election and everything, and then he just left office. I'm like, what? I'm like, what the hell? Like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I was pissed, dude. Like, there's a lot of shit that we ignored while he was in office because of other things we thought was going to happen. And the things we ignored happened, and the things we thought were going to happen didn't happen. I see you grinning. I know.
I was saying this all along that I felt it was the psyop to get that to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what it did. But
there's a lot of good that came out of it. Go ahead, man.
There is. No, there is. I've said that too. I actually wrote a piece for the website recently about that, and how now that we played it all the way through, we should come together and realize we still have a common enemy and common goals, and we need to unite and fight against these people. There was a lot of good that happened, a lot of good going on, and I see no reason why we can't continue. Just like I felt like the revolution that I was a part of with Bernie didn't need to fall apart. It's the hero worship that we hinge everything on person, and then when they go away, you all fall apart. Yep.
I agree. Yeah. And a lot of the savior complex came out, the hero worship, the idolatry, we put him on a fucking pedestal expecting the world, and he got taken out. Now, honestly, I think his heart was in it. He did a lot of good for this country. I think he loved this country, and he got screwed over at the end. I've read a lot. What was his name? Something. Patrick Byrne was in the White House with Michael Flynn and Sidney Powell at the end of December, and they were discussing Trump's options. And from his account, his firsthand account, now if he's accurate or not, I don't know. I'm just going off of what he said. He was in the White House speaking to Trump directly with Michael Flynn and Sidney Powell, with giving him options through Trump's executive orders to actually audit the election and be legal. And his own lawyers were not giving him that option. His own lawyers never told him that option, and they were trying to basically run out time and give Trump a different path because they knew that Trump wouldn't be in office. They were basically going to run out the clock. So Trump would run out of legal options, and then everybody who was, what's the word, not sidestepping Trump, but basically leading him down the wrong path was going to get a massive payout in high-paying jobs after Trump left office. And that's if he's accurate, it's firsthand account information from inside of the White House. from a person speaking to Trump and saw his own lawyers lying to Trump's face. Even Mark Meadows was screwing it. He's the chief of staff.
So they were sabotaging him, you think?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it played out that way too. If a lot of people are like, oh, Trump still got this, Trump's doing it, but if you watched his body language after the 6th, it was totally different. And then his first appearance after the 6th was down in Texas at the border. He looked completely defeated. It wasn't Trump. Like, it, you know, I mean, it was him, obviously, physically. But
right. I know what you mean, because I saw the same shit with Bernie.
Yeah.
After the walk with Obama.
You could tell that he had gotten fucked over. He knew it was it. And then his last appearance, when he left the White House, it was not his bravado talking. You know what I mean? Like, he's larger than life. He was
right.
not, at the end, he was just like, well, he basically said, what did he say? He said, have a nice life and we'll see you soon. I'm like, that's the last words you put out to the American people as president? Like, and he didn't address the people. So that annoyed me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that was like a slap in the face. He addressed all of his people that were close to him, and there was nothing to the American people like, hey, I'm sorry, I tried my ass off and it didn't work out. It was just like he left us all hanging. Now he's got his own shit going on, and I understand that. So I'm not gonna really like shit on him, because I really appreciate what he did, and he really woke up America, and he got people to pay attention. He did amazing freaking things. I'm just a little sore.
That he left it that way because he thought maybe something would be done with these court cases or anything, or you think he knew it was over and that was his final greeting?
He looked defeated. He looked tired.
Yeah.
It looked, and at the same time, how I feel he's going to come back. Trump will not go away. He has put 20, 30, 40 years into this to become president. This isn't just a fly by the seat of the pants to become president thing that he did. He planned it for years. So he's not just going to go away. I think he's going to come back with a social media platform or a media platform. He's going to keep sticking it to him because he said he would come back. He said our movement was just getting started. And Trump's not just going to disappear. He's going to continue riding the wave that we created with him. So I'm not, it's just, it left a bad taste in my mouth how it ended with everything that all of us did to continue what he was doing and to push him forward.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely could have. You know what, though, might have made him afraid to acknowledge his supporters is how they're demonizing them right now and trying to convince everyone that they tried to overthrow the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
And that everyone was in grave danger. And they were even grilling about how he didn't act while even Pence was in danger. They weren't in. Where was the danger?
I know. So there's a lot of things that we don't know, and I try to I try to let things play out before I get, really upset over things. I was at the time, but I'm not going to hold anything against him. He has a chance. He can come back, and he'll get everybody back. People still love him.
Well, I'm surprised he hasn't already started touring, because his rallies always did fantastic.
I think he'll wait. It'll be another 6 months or so to a year until you see him back in public really pushing, because there's a lot of hurt feelings. There's a lot of bad things going on, and he's dealing with a lot of shit. He's dealing with the impeachment thing, which is pretty much a waste of time, but he's still got to deal with it. It takes his attention away. The Southern District of New York is trying to come after him, his family, his foundation, his organization, everything that he did in the White House. He has so much legal shit that he has to clear out right now. Everybody's coming for him. Everybody wants to tear him down. So I'm not going to sit here and harp on him, because he's got a world of shit that he's got to deal with. And the people need to do their own thing on the side, which is good. The people have still kept moving forward. We're still a lot of people are hurt by it, but we're not we're screwed and it's over with. You know what I mean? It's not a completely deflated thing, because we know what was done to us for years. We know what's being done to us right now. And we still had a plan, you know what I mean? Like, we just keep moving forward.
That's good, because that's what I was hoping for, is that we would keep moving forward against this agenda that is holding us all down. We do realize we have common enemies.
I think he'll be back I think 6 months to a year, he'll start to put his face out a little bit there. He'll start putting out like, you'll see it. It'll be a slow progression. There'll be
So
a little.
you think he might run again then?
I think so. Like, if he gets the support, which he's not going to lose support. I think he'll run in 2024. If not, maybe his son or somebody like him. But it has to be, to continue the movement that he created. It almost has to be him to come back, or his son, or Don Jr. But that's like, these people are very intelligent and they understand human nature very well. So it has to be someone similar to him, or someone that our entire movement is still hooked in. And our movement doesn't really like anybody besides Trump. I mean, there's very few politicians that we would back, even if Trump backed him to be president and to continue what Trump was doing. Because
so even with the way it left out, would you support him again?
100%. I would support him. I would support him, but I would not push like I did from 2016 to 2020. I can't do that. I don't have it, man. I'm done. I'm tired.
You were a huge supporter.
I was, man. I pushed that shit. So we built it from absolutely nothing to what it was. Like, there was nothing. Like, everyone was so afraid to talk about him, to put anything out there in public. And we created a community. We created a foundation on social media that just got huge and got people talking about things when nobody else was. So we did our job, man. We did what we needed to do. And I always knew in 2015, when I started supporting him, I was like, Trump is all or nothing. He is an all or nothing candidate. He's either going to take everything out and really build up the people, or he's going to be a colossal failure. And right now, he was a huge success. I mean, he did huge things in the global spectrum. He went after China. He brought peace in North Korea. He didn't go to war with Iran. There's like 4 or 5 peace deals in the Middle East. I mean, Trump did amazing things for the world that people don't see or don't know because the media buried it. Even North Korea, people aren't talking about North Korea. Dude, if that's the only thing he did in office, that is a monumental thing that he did.
I never understood why, because the media always framed it as negative, him doing that.
They
told the shit out of him about it.
Yeah, that Kim Jong-un outsmarted him or something. I'm like,
right,
dude. If that happened under Obama or anybody else, the media would have loved him, because that would have gone with the global plan. Anything that the media downplays or hates, it's against the global plan. Just like they went against the Paris Agreement and the Iran deal, and now Biden's getting us back into it, getting us back in with the World Health Organization. That's how I always know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. When the media attacks Trump or downplays it, or tries to spin it in a negative manner when it's a really good thing, that's how you know that it goes against the global agenda. Just like
I agree with that.
And like, Trump can come back, and if he does, our movement's going to be even bigger than it was in 2016. 2016, we were nothing. Like, nobody knew shit.
Right.
And in the political spectrum, nobody knew anything. Nobody was doing anything. Now people are still active, and we got it taken away from us. So knowing us, that's going to piss us off even more. So if Trump comes back, people are going to be even more fired up, because they'll want it taken down even more. So Trump has the opportunity. Trump can become bigger than he was at the end of his presidency, and he was huge. His rallies were massive.
You know, and I was thinking of something while you were saying that, because this whole time I'm thinking of myself when the Bernie thing happened, and I felt just like you are right now about how he needs to do it again, because we know what we're doing now, and we can organize better and everything. And I think we even did. But
Yeah.
he was a tool and he betrayed us the second time for sure. 100%. I don't know that Trump is that personality type.
Trump is
because
a fucking
to blow that,
China shop. Dude, he is an alpha fucking male. He wants to tear down everything, and he did that. Like, he started to. He took so much shit out on his way, but he got betrayed and got taken out. And you know how it is when you're doing something and all of your people around you are supporting you, you can keep moving forward. But once your closest inner circle starts betraying you and you start realizing that, it's really hard to keep moving forward. You get worn out. And that's not a knock on the man. What the man did was phenomenal. I can't believe he made it as far as he did with what he was against. And the farther along we go, the more we understand how deep Washington, D.C. is, how bad it is. Like, we didn't know. I didn't know shit in 2016, man.
Well, that is for sure a very good thing that came out of all of it, is the awareness level that has gone up.
Exactly. Yeah. I love the man for that. 100%, dude. I will continue to support him just for that mere fact. The awareness.
And I think that's true on both sides of the aisle, even people that weren't into the QAnon or the research part of it, for instance, but just even suffering from TDS paid more attention.
Yeah.
Everyone did. You got everyone to pay attention.
Even if it's against us, they like you and I have had that discussion. I don't care, right, left, it doesn't matter. I just want you to pay attention to global issues.
Get involved. That's enough right there. Just that step, paying attention, because a lot of what goes on is allowed to go on because we don't.
Exactly.
Or it's just due to tolerating it. We could eliminate a lot of things if we would come together and stop tolerating it. And
that's where I'm at now, man. Like,
you were telling me you're working on yourself more now.
I do a lot of work on myself. I learn a lot. Well, see, what a lot of people who are on my page don't really know, because they only knew me from politics. They didn't know me from before politics. Like, before politics, I love psychology. I love sociology. I love astronomy. I got into astrology. I started learning more about metaphysics and spirituality throughout this whole process that I was watching and researching while I was doing politics, and I would sprinkle it in every once in a while. Well,
I noticed it.
Yeah, and now that basically politics is gone, I realize that there's a huge divide and conquer, and sitting there and bashing the left is doing what the global agenda wants you to do right now. So
agreed.
I try not to do that. I won't do that because it's just really negative. I won't do it. And so it's about finding the common enemy, going across the side, and just putting down your own personal shit and be like, look, we're all getting screwed in this. They have us all boxed in, like right, left, black, white. Have you ever listened to, Tom McDonald, the rapper?
What was the name again?
Tom McDonald.
No, I haven't heard of him.
He had a song called No Lives Matter and Fake Woke. They just came out. I'm sure somebody in the comments have heard it. I'll send you a message just with the names of it. Listen to it and listen to his message. I guarantee you'll fall in love. Even if you don't like rap music, you will fall in love with his message. He's amazing.
I like rap music. I like all kinds of music. Okay,
actually. Good. I think you'll really like it.
Cool.
It's all about how everything that we have seen, that they put us in boxes and that they have us so separated, and they just continue one side bashing the other. You got black, white. If you're not Black Lives Matter, then you're Antifa. Or if you're not Antifa, you're a white supremacist. Like
they want to put you in little boxes and groups.
They have boxed every single one of us in, and I refuse to be inside of a box, and I refuse to push that agenda. So most of my work now is my understanding of sociology and the mind, and a deeper level connection to the spiritual world, so people can see that and understand that, and I can connect with those people. Because the more you understand yourself, the better you can understand other people, is the way I look at it. And it's not looking to like an external material possession to be happy. You got to be happy with yourself first. And if you're not happy with yourself, you're going to take it out on other people. And that's what you're seeing in the world right now. The world hates themselves. A lot of people in this world, they hate themselves. And they take it out on everybody else. And then they find a leader or a politician or the media that's fanning the flames of something that they hate, and they cling to it. And then they stoke the flames of that, and then the politician pushes that shit. Like, I can't even look at the politicians right now. They just piss me off. Because it's just like, and I kind of understand where they're at. They're in a different position than I am, but that doesn't mean I have to promote it. That doesn't mean I'm gonna promote a right-left battle.
Right.
To me,
they're playing us against each other. I think they're all in the same little clubs and groups.
Yeah.
They've already agreed to the outcome. It's like, I really think the professional wrestling analogy is very fitting, because it's like that. I think they already have an agenda scripted out, and they put on a show. They know how this plays out. I don't think there's a surprise when the vote rolls out and everybody's like, oh, that one. I think they know already everything that's going to happen.
They know, like,
they've met and they've arranged it, and they know who's on board and who isn't.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the show Designated Survivor? It's on Netflix. It's really good with politics. But it's like this. So to what you were saying, continue off of that, this impeachment process, they know what's going to happen. They know it's bullshit. Bullshit, excuse me. They know he's not going to be impeached. They don't have the numbers. They don't have the numbers before they entered the impeachment.
Right.
The media's blowing it up. They're making a huge deal out of it. Everybody's paying attention to it. But we already know the outcome. So all it is just to build a narrative, to bash Trump, to bash his supporters, and to build political clout, and to do the bidding of their masters on both sides. That's all it is. It's WWE bullshit. They know the outcome, and are throwing the players into the ring. So yeah, the professional wrestling analogy is perfect for it.
I think it is. It's great. I think it's right on the nail. It's for those. That's what it is. It's like entertainment for people that aren't into the wrestling. It's something for them to watch, like a soap opera for adults.
Yeah. And
people that couldn't make it in Hollywood, bad actors.
And I believed in Trump, and a lot of it was show, because you do have to put on a show, because you got to understand, and this isn't a knock on him. It's what it is. And you do it. I do it. Everybody does it. We all talk differently, and we'll just say private messages. We all talk differently in private messages, and then when we come out in public, we talk a little differently than we do in a private message. Like, I'll bitch in a private message, but I don't bitch on my Facebook post.
Right.
Because on a Facebook post, if I start bitching, then it continues down the line of bitching in the comments, or it creates people who hate me because I'm saying the wrong thing. And so we hate on politicians, we hate on the people in the public, but they do the same thing. The same thing we do. They're just better at it. And they push a bigger agenda. So I can't fault anybody, for having a political or a public face that differs from who they are. But there's some that are just really bad, like the way the media does it. Like, they're pushing this impeachment process, and they're like
Trump
surprised.
Is a great showman, though. I see what you're saying, but I think his personality is close to what he presented. He just played up certain aspects, and he also played to his crowd.
He's as real as you're ever going to get out of a politician and a person you're going to see in public, compared to who he is behind the scenes. And I've studied him a lot.
You saw him speak a lot. You went to a lot of rallies. I know you went to quite a few, actually, that I saw. What was that like, listening to the president speak so plainly?
Oh, dude, I've been to 5 rallies, and each time I went there with the mindset that, I support the guy, but I held him up to a high standard, and I supported him, not like an idol level, but I believed 100% in his message. I did 100% and I pushed the shit out of him because I believed in him.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, when I went to his rallies, because, you can do things on TV and act differently on TV. And when I went to a rally, I was like, I am just a person here watching this. You know what I mean? Like, I am not, like, put him on a pedestal to watch him. Because, when you're like, oh my God, I'm going to go see this rock concert, no matter what happens at the rock concert, it's going to be amazing because
Right.
you already have it in your mind. I went in there as even keeled as I could, and it was, dude, he comes in and takes over the freaking room. Like, the last rally I went to before the election, it was in Scranton, Pennsylvania, which is a mountains. Dude, we're on top of a mountain in 25-degree weather with 30-mile-an-hour wind constant. And that's not an exaggeration. That's what the Weather Channel was. In wide open space. And there was 20 to 30,000 people there. I got there at, I think it was 9 a.m. No, it was actually before that. The buses left at, I think, 7 a.m. So I was outside from 7 a.m. and when it was snowing. And we left, oh my God, what time was it? I think he went on at like 3. So we left at like 5. Dude, there were people out there for 10 hours to see this man speak.
Wow.
In those conditions. The energy was electric. Dude, nobody was leaving. Nobody was leaving. No one's leaving their seat when he walks on stage. The dude is larger than life. And I don't say that from like a fangirl perspective. I say that watching him. And
It's undeniable the support he had. And people were very passionate about him.
And it wasn't just that. Like, I studied, like I said, I really like psychology. I really love the study of the mind, and sociology, which is the study of human behavior and human interaction. I studied his family perspective. I studied his father. I studied his brother. I studied his mother. I studied his wife's, and his kids. And if you compare his kids to Joe Biden's kids, you can tell that Trump is a good father. Like, he's good to his kids. His kids love him.
And he doesn't have a hunter.
Can you imagine if he had one? Laura's a little wild. She's not a hunter. But
right.
she's not as scripted as Junior is.
No, it's unreal. Well, that's what happens when you play the record. You leave the record player on for the kids.
Yeah.
Isn't that what he said? You leave the record player on for him?
Yep. Trump was a good father. And I read a story. So here's a story about Trump that many people don't know. Ivanka Trump and I think it was Don Jr. They wanted to sell lemonade when they were kids just to make some money and do whatever. Trump wouldn't let them set up a lemonade stand in front of Trump Tower because it would give them easy access to a bunch of people. They had to work for it. They had to set up a lemonade stand in their neighborhood so that they could actually learn marketing and promoting and shit like that and hard work. Because Trump's dad never handed shit to Trump. Trump's dad was a hard working son of a bitch. He came from absolutely nothing to build a real estate empire. Now, Trump grew up with some money, but at the same time, Trump's dad made him work for it. So Trump has that hard-nosed, blue-collar attitude with him, but he's still a capitalist and he's still a billionaire. You know, you see someone like Biden. Biden, you can tell he's had shit handed to him his whole life. He's lied and cheated his way through his entire life to get to where he's at. Like,
can't disagree with that.
Those are that's the stuff that I watch before I support people. Is their psychology and their mental.
I don't understand anybody supporting Joe Biden. Of course, I don't believe he has any real support. I think it's manufactured, and there's no way he's the most popular elected president in history. I don't believe any of that.
It's hate Trump, and anybody but Trump. He's better than Trump.
Well, you know, the media spent 4 years brainwashing people that they needed to be terrified of Trump.
Yeah.
They did a fantastic job. I know a lot of people that are still terrified of Trump and like you said, ignore everything good and only pay attention to anything bad. And most of the bad was going on before him and is going to continue after him. They were just pointing cameras at it during his presidency.
That's called projection. When you are afraid of something and you can't control them, So you try and get everybody else around them, and you control everybody else around the person to hate the other person. That's what narcissists do, and that's projection. When you're afraid, so you try and get other people to be afraid of it. It's all psychological, man. The media
Yep.
knows what they're doing, and then
Oh,
the
yeah.
media scares their own workers to hate Trump. So then it just becomes natural. It's they're manufacturing people's minds. It's mind control. So now we got a whole generation that hates Trump, and that mindset of anybody who speaks out like Trump, they hate them. Like they're gonna spin everything to hate every single Trump supporter eventually. That's what they're already trying to do that.
Well, this cancel culture is in overdrive now. They're so empowered by this.
Yeah,
and the
dude.
left, the extreme left has control over information now.
That's the
They
downside.
basically own it all. The avenues for it anyway.
There's always a positive, but then there's always a downside. Like when you come in as Trump and you're as abrasive as he is, yes, you build support, but at the same time, you build a huge, massive culture that hates you at the same time. So if you don't win and if you're not successful, then that huge, massive culture that hates you won, and they're gonna fucking bury you.
I just hate seeing what they're doing, one, to his supporters, and then what they're using the vilification of his supporters to justify, which is this extreme censorship and rules and whatever else they may roll out. You know, like the domestic terrorism bill they were trying to pass, where
Yep.
they're basically describing everyone as a domestic terrorist. The blanket
Yep.
you could put anyone under, and it would give them like the Patriot Act, where it's all bullshit
Yeah.
and just gives them
Yeah.
more authority, stuff like that. They'll justify it with this Capitol riot that they're playing up. So, but I don't want to keep you forever. I don't. We're getting into a new tangent. I don't want to do that. So, because I know you had something you had to get to and an appointment.
My wife's making dinner. She's at home. She's making dinner.
Well, I was going to make it sound like you were doing something important.
No, nothing important, man. I don't.
Dinner's important. Joan tells
Oh.
me all the time. Dinner's very important.
So here's something cool I got going on that I just found. I had a reporter from DC call me the other day to actually. I'm going to meet them in Baltimore, Maryland, and do an interview with them.
Oh, no shit.
Yes, basically, because I met with them. Bob was there. I don't know if he's still watching, but Bob came with me. We met him in Harrisburg a couple months ago. It's not the same reporters, but it's people that worked with them.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, we spoke before the election, and I kind of gave a rundown of where we were, what the election was, and potential outcomes after the election. Basically, they want to follow up. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool. You have to let me know how that goes.
Yeah, I'll let you know. It's something I wasn't expecting. They called me out of the blue the other day. And they asked me, like, yeah. I was like, that'll be cool.
That'd be cool just to take part in. That'd be neat.
It's one of those things, like, it's funny because I was laughing about it before this because I told someone else. And I was laughing because I met with them for about 2.5 hours because they're reporters, but they don't like our media. They're from France. So they're appalled by the way our media works in America. I mean, they're disgusted by it. And so we spoke for like 2.5 hours. I wasn't expecting that. And so I would get done talking and he would, like, you could tell he was interested in what I was saying. Like, he was interested in what I was giving to him. And he kept asking questions. So we spoke for a while. And it's funny because they drove all the way up from DC to Harrisburg, which is probably about 2.5, 3 hours. We spoke for like 3 hours. In the clip that they used was only 3 minutes. They did all of that work for like 3 minutes of fucking video, and it was split between me and some other person. I was only talked for like a minute.
Really? Well, they must have just loved hanging out with you. That makes it even cooler that it's real journalists that you're working with.
And I wasn't sure what I was getting into. Like, I had an idea, but like when I first met them, you could tell that they were genuine. They were real. And then we started talking about media, and I said, look. Well, they said, like, they're like, well, we know you guys don't really like media. I said, look, I'm going to be honest with you, dude. I said, I just don't like any media. I don't like Fox News. I don't like Breitbart. I don't like any of them because they spin a narrative and they push their own agenda and their own perspectives onto the world as a form of mind control. I said, I'm just going to be upfront with you with that. I said, that's not a knock on you because I don't know you, but that's the way I feel. And then he goes, and then he started talking about their dislike for media. So I was like, all right, sweet. This is going to be a good interview.
That is cool. Right on. Well, let me know how that goes. And thank you for doing this. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. How can people follow you if they'd like to stay in touch?
Just my Facebook page. My name's Nick Reeder, and I'm on Gab, Instagram, YouTube.
I'm on Gab too. How you liking it?
I think it's nice. I really like Gab.
I do too.
I think it's a platform for the future because the person building it has their own. I'm not sure if they have their own servers. I think I've heard conflicting.
They do.
Reports.
Yes.
Okay, so they have their own servers. They built their own website. They don't have an app, so nobody can take their platform away from them. They have their own web hosting. It is the platform to be on, in my opinion. And it runs. It's kind of slower right now, but they're dealing with so much traffic.
They're really improving a lot though, rapidly. I've noticed.
I like the owner.
I've been with them now probably a month, and it's 100% better than it was when I started. So I know they're adding do you follow the Andrew Torben guy?
I get his
CEOs.
Yeah, he's the owner or something. CEO,
yeah, he's pretty vocal about what they're doing to improve because of all this new traffic. That's what's slowing them down. They're experiencing so many new users.
Yeah,
that they're getting overwhelmed, but they're expanding their servers and all this stuff to prepare for it and get ready to be the new social media platform.
And I think it's amazing what they are building. It's absolutely this is what we need.
I know, I like it over there, but that's cool though. I'm gonna let you get to your dinner. I don't want your dinner getting cold, but thank you again for doing this, Nick.
All right, brother. It's always good talking to you, man. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, man. See ya.
All right. All right. That was Nick Reeder. So I'm going to get back to you guys. I was incorporating your comments a little bit while Nick was talking, but it was awkward for two reasons. One, I felt like I was cutting Nick off. I had to pick stuff that would not cut Nick's face off. And then two, we were really talking about real stuff. I'll let you know why I feel that way, because I went through that with Bernie. A lot of what Nick was talking about, I was thinking the whole time, man, I've had these same thoughts, except with Bernie Sanders, especially when he was talking about how hopeful he is for another run, another go at it in 2024. That to me was kind of heartbreaking listening to that, because I felt that way too. But again, and I'll make this point again, I don't think that they're the same, Bernie and Trump. I don't think Trump is the personality type to set up his supporters for some bullshit like Bernie did. But I didn't think Bernie was either, so what kind of judge am I? Thank you for sharing, Ro. And thank you, all of you that are still here hanging out. We're going to hang out for a little bit. We got more show to do. Nick just had to get going. I was going to give him a better excuse, but he had to get to his dinner. That's important. Ron's got blisters on his fingers from smashing them buttons. You got to smash them buttons. Smoosh them shits. I feel like we didn't get to do a lot of stuff. On guest night, I always feel like a lot of stuff got left out, because every other night we hang out real heavy in the comment section and it's real involved. On guest night, I'm focusing on the guest, and I miss you guys. So I'm glad we get to hang out for a little bit at the end here. Thanks for doing it, Nick. I appreciate that. And it was very good. I thought it was funny how we had decided beforehand that we were going to avoid the politics, but where'd we end up? We ended up at the politics. I knew we would. It's the elephant in the room, and Nick was a huge Trump supporter. He was very passionate about Trump and supporting him, and is a big researcher as well. So was following him from many angles. But yeah, I had a great time with Nick, and that was awesome. Coming up next week, I don't even know what name I'm supposed to use. This always confuses me, so I'm not going to tell you yet. But I have a big guest for you next week on the Shawn Yankey Show next Friday night. And tomorrow night, I don't want to promise you this yet. I just found out. I went to tell you about things, both of them. I can't even tell you about them. Well, Ro, you can't be late for one. And for two, we'll be doing a watch party after. And you can come hang out with us then. We'll be watching it and having a conversation. I'll be hanging out with you guys and having my after show medicine. Lee says France is calling out the cancel culture. So how bad is that? And Joan thinks I'm right that Bernie's more of a politician. Trump's not. I don't think he's the type. But I also don't expect him to run again. I mean, if I was going to guess, that's just my opinion. But I agree with what Nick was saying, that towards the end he was defeated. And I don't know if it was the same thing that happened to Bernie. We all know Bernie got the little walk with Obama and probably had everything explained to him about how he wasn't going to become the nominee and he needed to back down and support the establishment and play ball, or they would make things worse for him. I'm sure things were made clear to Trump at some point. That's the only thing that really could have took the wind out of his sails. Right? Lee's talking about the wrestling analogy. But I don't like what they're doing with it now. So they encouraged their little event, because I think that's what happened with the Capitol riot. I think they encouraged that shit and helped it along, and they knew about it forever. If you looked at the Capitol during the Black Lives Matter protests and all of that, when that was going on, there was National Guard everywhere. It was very protected. They were incredibly lax. They even asked for extra support and were denied it. They underprotected that area. They knew what was going on, and they encouraged it. And you know, I'll never believe, even though I can't necessarily prove it, that there wasn't heavy infiltration into that. You know, it doesn't take much to steer a large group of people, especially if they're already stirred up. So Bernie could run again, but he will do it without me. I would never support any other politician. I'm done for good with politics at the national stage. You know, and that's what we were gonna get to, me and Nick, because he is working on himself more now. And that's where I want to focus in your community and your life and your immediate surroundings, what you can actually affect. That's what you should work on and focus on. And that's what should be important. Diane says Trump didn't lose. We watched a coup and most were clueless. Oh, we absolutely did. And then the whole time they accused their opposition of what they were doing. Lee, yes. Okay, yes. Next Friday night, Thai Nightfall, Dearest George, Malachi. There's a new one. But yes, my favorite guest is coming back next Friday night. So that's going to be huge. Babels is already requested off work. It's going to be lit. Am I right? Or is it next? Yeah. Yes. Next Friday. I can't see the calendar. Unfortunately, these aren't vision glasses, and the calendar's far away, but it is the 19th. Ty Nightfall will be back on. Rose says CIA files say Biden is our president. I'm confused. Biden is the president. Wait, what did I miss? I missed something. Did I miss something? I missed something. I'm confused. Me too, right? That's going to be great. So I'm excited about that. I got bad news for y'all. You know the little bumper idea? It's not going to work. Well, it's going to work, but I got to tweak it. We won't be able to do the full band version because I got a copyright strike. Not a copyright strike, but a ding, a warning from using that one last night. That sucks because I like that one. That was the best cover of that song I could find because, you know, you definitely can't use the original. Okay, Lee says to watch Two Presidents by Trey Smith. Right on. I'll check it out. Bernie is, well, I mean, he's too old. You're right. But there's more reasons than that I would never support him again. I would never support him again because I see what was really going on. And then, like, I don't know. I'm fighting something. There's a reason why I wore the Orwell shirt. The Orwell shirt. Why am I having trouble talking lately? I was having problems saying cell yesterday. I was trying to say animation cell, and I couldn't get it out of my mouth. It kept coming out shell. Brian says that Biden is the president. It's true. And he's real anonymous, not Q. So, part of a completely different psyop. And he has the inside information. So, Biden's president. And that's what I had heard, too. I had heard that Biden was president. Thank you. I do, too. I love collecting T-shirts and finding neat T-shirts. And I thought this was a really cool T-shirt. So, I had to get it. Oh, wait. This is the one I wanted. Well, it's just a waste of time. It's political theater, just like his defense attorney said. That's exactly what it is. Like Nick was saying, they know they don't have the votes to impeach him. They're not going to impeach him successfully, I don't think. I mean, unless some kind of a fluke was pulled off, I don't think so. So they're wasting time. It's just theater and distraction. And I think it gives them more of an opportunity to further vilify his supporters and give more excuses for, you know, these different things they're trying to do, like label everyone a domestic terrorist that isn't a Democrat. You know, only because Democrat is what's accepted now. Eventually they'll get around to them as well once they're defenseless. But I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight at the Shawn Yankey Show and remind you that we are live every night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Monday nights, we do news. Tuesday nights, motivation. Wednesdays, conspiracy theories and chill. Thursday nights, we do rants. Friday nights, we have a guest. Next Friday, like I said, it's going to be Thai Nightfall. And thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight and watching and taking part in the show. I really enjoy hanging out with y'all. If you can and you want to, come back in about 10 minutes on my timeline, my regular timeline on Facebook. We'll be having a watch party where we hang out and watch it back, because I like to watch it. It's new to me, and that's the way I learn. I have learned everything that I've learned how to do from watching it back and studying it. So I watch it anyway. And since it was a tradition for me, it became a tradition that we just do together. So if you want to come back for that, come back. Or if you're arriving late and missed the beginning, we're going to watch it together. So come back for that on my timeline, and I'll see you Monday night with the next episode. Have a good night, guys.